Hello everybody, it's Elijah here, or as you may know me, EJ Post. This is technically my voice reveal, so let's just say that this is my 20 subscriber special. In this video, in case you missed the title, I wanted to break down Eli, or Hawk's, hatred for Demitri, and try to understand it. Because after some research, it's much more interesting than I first thought. And also, this video will be containing spoilers for both seasons 1 and 2 of Cobra Kai, so you should probably go back and watch those. Keep this video on tabs or something, I don't know. So, whenever we're first introduced to Demitri and Eli, we quickly find out why they're not at all popular. Eli has a scar from his cleft palate surgery, and he gets bullied for it often, and Demitri has the personality of soured milk. So, soon after the introduction, Miguel is seen checking out some of the rich kids. And Demitri picks up on this, and Demitri's very smart, as is Eli, but Demitri catches on to things very quickly. This is also shown during the Miyagi-Do training, where he catches on to the movement training and the muscle memory. He tells Miguel that he should probably give up his hopes of getting in with the popular and rich crowd, because by association with Demitri and Eli, he is now an outcast. Eli then follows up by saying that he's probably getting bad-mouthed right now, and granted, he is, but Miguel states that they're probably not all that mean, not only to make the rich kids sound a little bit better, but to make Eli feel better, and that, no, maybe not everyone's talking bad about you. And I want to point something out, and that Demitri is supposed to be Eli's friend for several years. But despite that, Eli has, one, never gotten over his cleft palate scar, which granted he does get bullied for it, but also Demitri never stands up for Eli and his cleft palate scar, except for one case, which I'll get into later in the video. So, later on, in the library, we see Miguel, Demitri, and Eli all hanging out, and they're talking about it. Miguel states that he's not allowed to do karate anymore because he got beat up by Collar and his friends, and the binary brothers' reactions are very different. Eli states that he thought it was cool how Miguel was willing to stand up to them, even if he got beat up, and Demitri states that it's good that he's not getting any more karate training because it was giving him confidence. This is another example of Demitri telling his quote-unquote friends that they should not improve or be confident. So, later on, Kyler and his buddy come into the room, and they start to rag on Eli. Miguel then tells them to back off and stands up for Eli, despite having already been beaten up for them. This reveals something to Eli that he definitely catches on to, because like I've said, he's just as smart as Demitri. He catches on and realizes that Miguel was not just standing up to Kyler and his buddies because he was strong enough to do so, but just out of the goodness of his heart, because he now knows that Miguel is weaker than Kyler and his buddies. Now, Demitri does not stand up to them in this situation either. And I forgot to add this earlier, but even during the introduction scene, Demitri does not refer to Eli as his friend in any way, shape, or form. He keeps it strictly to this guy, Eli here. He never actually says, "This is my friend, Eli." This will become important later on as well. So, eventually, Demitri and Eli go to Cobra Kai to learn karate just like Miguel does. And again, I want to point out how clever Demitri is, in that he picks up on Miyagi-Do's chores teaching humility and motor controls. It is not a far cry to imagine that he can pick up onto Cobra Kai's hazing being a part of the training as well. And I want to point out the way Eli reacts to people making fun of him, insulting his lip, is he kind of coils up and tries to shrink away. Except whenever he's being called out by Johnny, he does not do this. He, in fact, is depicted as getting angry in the show. It's what we're led to believe at first. This is explained because he looks up to Miguel for being much nicer to him than Demetri is over these past few weeks in comparison to Demetri's several years. And so what happens is Eli immediately takes what Johnny says to heart. He needs to, flip the script. And so he immediately goes off and becomes the one, the only Hawk. So as time goes on, Demetri starts to notice that Hawk gets more popular. He starts winning tournaments, and he starts getting girls' attention. And only whenever Hawk starts becoming very successful socially, that's whenever Demetri begins to start calling him his quote-unquote binary brother. He does not ever refer to Hawk in any way affectionately or positively as a friend until Hawk gets a girlfriend, starts going to parties. Any other situation, not a chance. And my main point is that Demetri is a manipulative person. First, he manipulates Miguel and Hawk into trying to get them to stay low, lower their self-esteem so that they stay around him. And then whenever they don't do that anymore, he tries to latch on to them and talk them up like, yeah, they're my friends. Now, mind you, he doesn't just refer to Hawk once he gets popular as his friend. He goes above and beyond and calls him his binary brother. Before, he would not even refer to Hawk as his acquaintance. He just says, this guy, Eli here, strictly business, until Hawk becomes socially successful. And you later on see that Demetri doesn't just do this to Hawk and Miguel. He tries to manipulate other people into doing for him. In the scene where Demetri gets chased throughout the mall, Demetri takes an issue between him and the members of Cobra Kai and turns it into a mall fight. Now, yeah, I completely understand that what Hawk does is very crazy. He threatens Demetri and tries to get him to take down a Yelp review, which is like goofy as all get out, but it But then what happens is Demetri takes an issue between him and Cobra Kai, because this is him alone criticizing Cobra Kai, and then Cobra Kai is responding back. And he's taking this and involving other people into the situation. Because now, an issue between him and the members of Cobra Kai has now not only become an issue between him, Cobra Kai, and everyone in the mall, because he's trashing the mall as he's running through there, but he also turns it into a fight between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. Because Sam and Robbie were not involved in this issue, but then Demetri comes up and gets them to join in on the fight. Now, I'm not, of course I'm not for, a 5-on-1 fight. I don't think that's fair. But still, Demetri started this issue, and he doesn't even end it. He does not participate in the fight at all. Yes, Sam and Robbie are more skilled than he is, but he completely takes a step back and lets them do all the work, even though he started this issue. And this is shown some more as time goes on. So we arrive at the party in which Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do begin to clash for real. And here we see that Hawk's ex has gotten with a girl, and Hawk is just torn apart because he doesn't really know what to do, because he doesn't want to fight a girl. He's very against that, but he's also quite annoyed. And so then he begins to talk to Demitri for the first time in a long time. And here we see Demitri try to reawaken a bit of the nerdier side of Hawk. And they start talking about Doctor Who or whatever. And Hawk is 100% invested in the conversation. He's not dismissive of it. And Demitri tries to give some wisdom, which I do believe to be another attempt to get control over Hawk as a person. Demitri tells him, hey, you should let go, give up. It's that winner attitude that pushed her away. And for a second there, Hawk is listening. He's really taking it to heart, and he knows Dimitri's right in that situation. But then Demitri tries to slip another little thing in there. He tries to add that he needs to try inner peace, give Miyagi-Do a try, quit Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is what got Hawk all the status and the popularity. And normally you would think that Hawk is angry, but we know Hawk isn't angry. I think he's testing Demitri, and I can prove it. Because if he was angry with Demitri, he would have just punched him. And Hawk has no issue with punching a guy. His only issue is with punching girls. He doesn't like it. And this is shown because in the scene in the park where he drops Bert. Yeah, I had to look the kid's name up. It's the blonde kid with the glasses that's really small. He drops the kid without hesitation. He would have no reason not to deck Demitri right there. But he doesn't. He pours the alcohol all over Demitri. And this is because, as I've said before, Hawk is just as smart as Demitri. And he isn't mad. He's testing Demitri. If Demitri really is all about this inner peace, then pouring some alcohol all over him, like Majima in Yakuza 0, should only serve to make him more happy. But Demitri doesn't. He again draws in the whole crowd and starts ripping into Hawk's deeper insecurities. Again, Demitri involves other people into a personal issue between him and Hawk. Not only that, he fails the test because he gives in and immediately tries to start insulting back. So now Hawk is completely against Demitri because he's shown that he doesn't fight for himself. He's shown that he's completely disingenuous about what he says. And Hawk is 100% aware now that Demitri is trying to manipulate him. And Hawk understands Demitri as a person too, except he doesn't use it to manipulate him. He uses it against him physically because he understands that Demitri would go to the comic book shop. He understands where Demitri would be hiding in the final fight of season 2. And Hawk understands now that Demitri is trying to manipulate and use him. And that explains why he's so livid against him in the final season. Because at first I thought that Hawk was taking it way too far. But you have to imagine, in Hawk's point of view, how long has he known Demitri and how long has Demitri stifled him? Because Hawk sees that in just a couple months, he's become a much more capable, much more popular person. If that's all it takes of being away from Demitri, you have to think about how angry Hawk is and how limited he must have felt. And that's why he turns against Demitri so bad. And, he's not against nerd stuff. He's not against any of his interests. He's against Demitri as a person because he correlates those things with the actions of someone like Demetri, someone who manipulated him. Because a common statement made by everyone watching the show is that Hawk's lip isn't really that big a deal. It's just a little scar. However, what ends up happening is you see that because of how Hawk responds about his lip is what makes or breaks it. Because if Demetri wasn't there to make him feel weak and insecure, Hawk probably would have just gotten over the lip thing. It's really not that big, and I think the kids would have stopped bullying him over it, and they do stop bullying him over it whenever he stops giving them the power to do so. Demetri is the manipulator who wants others weak so that he does not look weak by comparison. Thank you all for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed. This is my voice reveal. If you liked the video, please like and potentially subscribe. If you didn't like it, give me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong, what I could do better. Hope you have a wonderful night, and until next time.